Call the meeting to order with everyone present. First item on the agenda, Brenda Kreitzer. Resolution and deputy appointment.
Yeah, usually I come up once a year to update the resolution department. And, you know, as the values keep going up, it's more money we're dealing with in these accounts. And so I don't know if you have any questions on what I have switched anything to, but it's just a matter of going up a little bit on our banks that we do most of our business with, because when it comes to the middle of the month and I send out the orders, especially in March of the almost 10 million, I have to have enough, the resolution high enough to be able to have that money in there, plus all the other accounts I already have in there. So it's just a matter of when we have the audit that I am never over what the resolution states.
I move to approve the resolution.
Wait, second that.
We have a motion and a second for the depository resolution. Is there any further discussion? If none, it is a resolution. Mark?
Aye.
Shirley?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Steve? Aye. And I, so passes unanimous.
Okay, and then just another quick thing, and again, this is not a salary increase, but I would like to appoint Becky, who works in our office, as deputy. Her excellent quality work has demonstrated she can conduct all the responsibilities needed to be a deputy. Most importantly for me, though, is the employee retention. I found out how hard it is to get even applicants to apply, let alone get good applicants. And so now that we have excellent applicants up there, I want to make sure that we keep them. And so by appointing her as deputy, this would show her as growth opportunities. Like I said, this is not to raise her salary. This is just appointing her as deputy.
It actually gives her the, possibilities of signing stuff and.
Oh, yes, she can do anything that, once you're a deputy, she can do anything. I'm not there.
How does that work that if she's becomes a deputy, that the salary doesn't change?
Well,
The salary isn't necessarily part of being a deputy. That's just, she's setting her, keep leaving her salary the same. Just giving her that title. But deputy doesn't necessitate anything with salary other than the caps that can go with it. So at some point, she could ask for salary increase all the way up to 80%. She's at 50
56.
to whatever.
It will be 56, yes.
56%.
Of hers, yeah.
So
That's right.
so in the future, you could increase that.
It could be increased, right? But as of this point, it's just, I just don't want to lose any of the employees because they couldn't do that. They're not going to be getting anywhere with us. So I just want to do this for the employee retention.
Is it normal for everybody in the office to be a deputy?
Ours has been all deputies for years.
It's pretty normal to hire someone as a clerk and make sure they work out in that position before promoting them to deputy, but usually they're all deputies.
Someone like.
Well, but going forward, if, with budget problems, would we have to decrease staffing in the courthouse, or when it comes to that? Would that make a difference if they're deputies or not?
I don't think so. And number one, we have been decreased one person since I've been treasurer. So our office already is decreased one person for the last almost 5 years from what it used to be.
I move to approve the deputy appointment in the treasurer's office.
We have a motion and a second to approve the deputy appointment in the county treasurer's office. Is there any further discussion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you. Deputy
I think we're not taking it. Thank you. Did you sign? I think you need to sign right here. Dan's and we'll have to have Becky sign the oath of office.
Anything else right now?
No, we can do that now.
Perfect, thank you.
Just so everyone knows, when deputies, in all of our offices, deputy appointments are only for the terms of the elected officials. So anytime there's a new elected official, they could redeputize them or not retain them or anything like that.
And I abstained on that last vote.
Okay.
Right. Oh.
These.
Okay, next item on the agenda, Jon Lubke, IT GIS Director with a hiring update.
Yeah, so I'm here just to kind of give you an update, and actually ask for approval to actually hire someone. So there's some background I think I passed out a sheet here. Basically, if you remember back last year in the spring of 2023, we had ICIT come in and do a IT assessment, and they found that, you know, there was a good reason to kind of up our staffing, was warranted just based on the size of our environment. We've got about 145 users, over 500 different devices, and a lot of those are pretty complicated systems. So we've got over 40 routers, 30 wireless APs, 15 mobile routers, and then 30 plus servers. And then the environment is very distributed, basically, and somewhat complicated, you know, because we've got well over 200 different locations that we try to support. So the system admin job description was approved by you, and we scored, or had Condry score it, and it scored at a grade 20, which we basically started at 60,750. And then we also looked at a senior system admin, and that would score probably up in the above mid 60s, so about 67.5. So we actually advertised that. Well, let me back up here a second. So, and this position would actually be kind of funded through the emergency management. I think that group met and decided that they had some funding options available to them that maybe the general fund doesn't have. So this would be serving the technical needs of the entire county, but concentrating more on the law enforcement piece, because that's the growing sector we have. And of course, priority given to its 24/7 nature. That department, or emergency management, dispatch, county sheriff, they work 24/7 and require that their technology also work in that respect. So we announced the job the first of the year and started advertising, basically ran it for 30 days in both print. So we ran it with the papers and digitally on Indeed.com. We did get 3 applicants, so our applicant pool was somewhat small. But we did interview those 3 candidates with the help of Joel Roney with ISAC, and also with the help of nMichael, who's the Webster County IT Director. And during that process, you know, the group, we did kind of see that maybe that the salary was kind of a limiting factor there, but we did have a good quality candidate in the end, and their recommendation was to go ahead and hire that person. So that's what I'm here to do today. So I'd like to ask you for approval to hire a candidate. We would start them at that 60,000 level, but you know, as they get training and more qualified with our system, you know, in the next year and a half, I'd like to maybe push them up if they warrant that. It's kind of unique. I'd also like them to have a little more vacation than the normal vacation, just because it is an exempt position, I think. Ben, is that correct?
We have to verify that.
Verify that, but That way they would have the opportunity to take a little vacation if they're working. You know, I'm expecting this person to work more than 40 hours a week, so.
So when we had the ICIT group come in, and we got our report card, and we were all, our eyes were pretty wide open on that report card. Do you feel pretty confident the person you're bringing in can cover some of those security issues and systems issues?
Yeah.
At the level they're at right now?
Not at the level they're at right now, but I, intend to get this person some training, and have them work with some of our vendors that we're typically working with. It'll be a steep learning curve, but I have no doubt that this person, they have an exceptional work ethic, in my opinion. So I don't think that's gonna be a problem. So, the job is a, kind of an at-will position. So if something doesn't work out, I think we can deal with that, but I don't foresee any problems. And then the candidate would like to give at least 2 weeks notice, so I don't expect them to start until maybe the end of March, early April.
I'm glad you were able to find somebody at that level.
And this is a local person, so I'm fortunate that we will
Stay put.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with John about this on Friday. I think John's idea is probably a good move. He seems promising at the end that this person can, grow into it to some degree, which I think Fatima did also.
Yeah.
So I think that's better. Certainly think that's a success story within our IT department. So I'm in favor of moving forward with this. We need a motion.
The motion would be to approve the offer to hire and approve the hire if they accept.
I move to approve the offer for hire.
Second.
We'll let Ben pick who seconded it.
I got it. He was loudest.
We have a motion and a second for the hire in the IT GIS Director's Department. Any further discussion?
And I'll make sure the minutes also reflect that statement about the vacation and the statement about 24/7 and giving law enforcement the first priority. That was part of what the emergency management asked as part of the official action.
Well, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
All right.
We did that filled.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Breath of fresh air to get that position filled in the IT department.
Yeah. Especially after we got that report card that night.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Doug. Morning. I guess next on the agenda, Doug Groux, Sanitarian, Moellers Dairy construction permit. Looking to waive the waiting period.
So approximately a month ago, the board approved Moellers Dairy expansion. The DNR has finally approved everything for them. So they're good to go, except for you always have a 14-day waiting period that the county has. So Moellers has asked the DNR to get the 14-day waiver for that because they have people ready to go and the weather's nice. So if that's the case, I've got a letter here in the resolution that would get signed, and I would scan that and send that to Paul Mattetti, and then he could release the construction permit so they can get started.
What's your opinion, Doug, as far as waiving at this point in time?
Personally, I'd waive it.
Yeah, because the weather is nice. Usually
Well-
this time of year, the weather ain't, you just gotta wait anyway.
What's the intent, would be the purpose of waiting the 14 days?
It would, that he's got contractors that could go now. and the weather's nice, so.
Why is there a 14-day waiting period?
In case the county wants to contest it, and if the county did want to contest it, then you could go down to Des Moines to the Environmental Protection Commission, and you'd have to say, hey, we're here because we don't agree with this or that, or what have you.
And just so the public knows, there's a matrix system, the Iowa DNR, They've met all the parameters of that matrix, so really there is no power in the county right now to contest this if they meet those parameters. It's not under our control.
I would recommend waiving it.
I'd make that motion to waive the waiting period.
We have a motion and a second to waive the waiting period for the Moellers Dairy construction permit. It is a resolution. Is there any further discussion? It is a resolution. Mark? Aye. Shirley?
No,
Mark?
Aye.
Steve? Aye. I also. Motion passes.
thanks, Doug.
Yep, and get you assigned there. And right below that, section 6, kind of gonna scan these and send these to Paul Patetti with the DNR.
And I would like copies.
Yep.
See you, Doug.
Yep.
Just,
Yeah.
Connection.
Yeah.
I mean, it was true, it was true. It was true.
Just noticed something on the payables, and that's this exorbitant expense that the auditor is experiencing on purchasing candy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Candy on the counter. I think a lot of the people in here have come in and have accessed it.
what do we have for consent agenda, Dan?
Got the minutes, the claims, the county reporter's monthly report, and a liquor license for Silvercrest Golf and Country Club.
I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
I mean, again, who moved and seconded? You moved it.
Yeah.
Mark seconded. Mark and Mark.
There'll be 3 of us down at the ISAC conference this week, Steve Kelsey, Mark Baldit, and myself. And then Ben, Jane Schultz, Brenda Kreitzer, and Mike Kueny will be down there for their departments as well. So we all head down to Des Moines and go to workshops and seminars and mingle with other people in the state doing our same jobs. That would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They're adding 6,900 more animals.
No, they're not adding that many. That'll be their total.
They're
Their new
4,000.
total will be 6,900. Thank you. It's north of Ridgeway, I believe.
All right, we got on the agenda a couple miscellaneous items up next. First off, new building naming discussion.
Well, like I mentioned in the email, I figured that as we get things converted, utility bills and so on, that if we wanted to call it something different than the Spectrum Building, that now would be a good time to come up with a name. So otherwise it'll probably cement it in the history of the Spectrum Building, kind of like the DOT building where the DHS is located is still the DOT building. I guess it's up to you guys what you might want to call it, but
There is a pedestal sign that sits right on the intersection corner right there that you easily change. It
Yeah.
simply says Spectrum Building. Spectrum on it. I was thinking, I had a comment that I replied to Ben's email on. We consider using the term services in it because we have 3 public entities that provide services And we're considering in the space
Yeah, four.
planning, four, yeah, we got Toys Go Around, we got Spectrum, we got Community Food Pantry, and we have Old Aging. And so all of those four are all basic community services. And we're talking about, perhaps locating some of our public health or into there also continuing. So if we use, maybe it's Winneshiek County Services Building or,
Annex.
well, I would.
No, you could get the annex here.
Because that's
See,
gonna
then it's gonna get confused. Annex building, well, then they won't know which one, so you,
And we end up with this, and changing the name and the recognition of this building as the annex might be a real challenge.
yeah. You don't wanna have two annex buildings, because that just be confusing.
Sure.
Community services as a name for that building.
Winneshiek Community Services.
That makes it longer, but
Yeah, I think we need to identify it as the county building, differentiating it from city services or, senior center or any other thing like that. I think we need to identify it as this is
County Community Services.
county community services.
Keep it as short as possible, but yet identifiable.
I like keeping annex out of it and I like keeping admin out of it because that would be confusing with courthouse departments. And I like keeping it general because you never know over time what's all going to be housed in there.
Winneshiek. Or county community services.
Or if you use both, we could abbreviate it as WinCo Community Services.
That's true, because we do have WinMed as a short name for
Yeah.
Winneshiek Medical Center.
Yeah, should work.
Yeah, WinCo, it's a good idea. I like WinCo Community Services.
Guys have any particular feelings on that?
Sign could say in small letters, though, Winneshiek County to identify it as a county building. So Winneshiek County Community Services, people can shorten it when they talk about it.
Yeah,
We can refer to it as the WinCo building, but I think Winneshiek County Community Services would be descriptive of what's happening in the building.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'll agree with that.
Okay.
We need a motion?
You could make a motion just to make it official, but I think we can.
I move that we rename the building Winneshiek County Community Services.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second for the naming of the Spectrum buildings of Winneshiek County Community Services. Is there any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There's unanimous.
Unanimous.
Will there be, are we going to change that sign in the front then?
I'll go one time.
Yeah.
End time is
Who will
That
be
should
in
be-
charge of that?
well, since Halverson, since he is basically our buildings person, and I think you're accounting for that building now falls within his department, is that correct?
And
And Spectrum may still want to sign someplace there, so people are looking for Spectrum.
We have the monument sign on the corner, but we also have by the double door into the center entrance, we also have a multi square sign there that has Spectrum on it also and has a number of different, community names on it. So, and there's a couple of blank spaces still, I think, on the bottom of it, 2 or 3.
I'd like to consider the aesthetics for that neighborhood when we do the signage, make it real clean and professional.
Do the front row use, like Winterworks. Just have them give us a design layout.
all right, next on the miscellaneous list, township officials pay.
Jim Lubke was in and talked about this a month ago or so, and I did include increase of 33%. So I went from 15,000 to 20 when I did the budget. Currently, they get paid $45. So if you went up to 60, it would be within the budget. You don't have to go to 60. That's what I included. If you go more than that, we might not have enough in the budget. He asked again, because he was in filing the township budget paperwork, if the board had taken any action, and kind of reminded me to get it on the agenda again. So I thought we didn't have a really big agenda today. You can talk about it if you wanted to.
How often do they meet?
It varies. They're required to meet 2 times a year by code. Once to certify the budget and once to certify their annual financial report. Some of them don't meet much more frequently than that. If they have a fencing dispute, that can end up costing or being several meetings, but that's billed to the landowners that are filing the fencing dispute. But it comes out of your pay initially, and then they have to pay it back. Sometimes though, like when they were looking at buying a new fire truck for the Rural Fire Association, the townships that are involved in that end up meeting several more times. So those, sometimes there can be half a dozen meetings in a year, but
So our P and Z commission is not paid. Our Veterans Commission is not paid.
Right.
Historic's not paid.
Historic's not paid. I can go either way on this one, but
these
we
are-
did
these
get 2 letters saying don't increase it from trustees themselves.
Yeah. And there would be no reason you have to. There was a recent survey that circulated on the, amongst the auditors asking what different counties pay, and it varies anywhere from $10 or $15 per meeting to $75 per meeting. It's just a big, leave it optional for the trustees, whether they even want to claim the amount or not. And I mean, it's really across the board.
But they're all, the township trustees live within the township.
They have to live within the township. They cannot, trustees cannot live in city limits. The clerk can live in a city limits. So for example, the Decorah Township clerk could be a Decorah city resident, but the trustees have to live in the rural area. They're setting the budget for the people in the rural area. So mostly that budget is for fire protection, but they can, Frankville, for example, is also levies money to maintain their community center, that kind of thing.
That doesn't affect, Frankville's not incorporated. so
Not
that
incorporated,
doesn't
but
affect-
everybody in the township then pays
Yeah.
towards that levy. Township levies vary from about, your rural levy is $1.95. City levies are, anywhere from $8 or $9 to $30 in Decorah. Township levies vary from like 50 cents to, I think Frankville is one of the highest with the running the community center at $1.12 or $1.15 or something. Most of the townships, the maximum they can levy for fire is 60 3/4 cents, and most of them are sitting at or near that amount, just because that's their biggest expense is to pay the fire departments.
There are some though that are considerably low.
There are a couple. I think Burr Oak is in the 40 cents for fire, and Decorah Township actually lowered theirs this year. They were at the 60 3/4, but their valuation is so much, they had more money than what they knew what to do with, so they went down to 50 cents. It's still significantly cheaper to live in the rural area than into a city, but it's something that the rural area has to pay also to help provide that.
If my memory serves me right, I think Jim said it's been almost 15 years.
Yep, it was 2009 or 10 when it was last raised. At that time, it went from $25 to $45.
So basically, a roughly 10% raise, we put them about $50, which it's not,
It's more than we got, Mark.
I was gonna say, I mean, given what,
But over 12 years, that is
that's,
1%
that
a
would
year.
be a compromise. I mean, give some, but it's not gonna,
75 is probably not reasonable.
Especially with all the other commissions making
I know.
nothing.
And
they will a lot
the
more money.
difference is that these people, they're elected.
Yeah.
They are not an appointed
Yes.
commission. They're elected officials for their township, so.
I'd move to raise it to 50.
Yeah, most of the city councils, which are almost voluntary, are about 20 or so. $20 a week.
We have a motion
I'd second that.
and a second to raise the township officials' pay to $50 per meeting. Is there any further discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimous. All right, next on the agenda, Mike Kueny, county engineer, road department updates. Good morning, Mike.
And before he gets started, I want to thank Mike. I went in and asked him this morning because of our needs for space planning on the Spectrum building. I talked with Mike and asked him if maybe his staff could help us get a rudimentary floor plan that's maybe a little more accurate than trying to look at this evacuation plan as being our space planning option. And so they're gonna work through some of the details on that. And so far, we can't locate any original architectural drawings, so we're gonna need something a little more definitive than this particular map. Thank you, Mike.
Not a problem. Just gonna go through the reports, show what we did today or this past week. Still in the leadership training, this week, break for the last segment, so. You're working with the GIS department for website expansion and coordination. I don't know if anybody has looked at the engineer's website or the GIS website. Always will take feedback on anything that you have on that.
Can you share with us what you've added there?
So the GIS website has put some rocking operations or historic rocking operations. That's Reggie doing that. Our engineer, the Winneshiek County Engineers website has put things, contact information to try to make things useful, and then having the staff work on fun facts, things like the oldest bridge, the oldest road, and things like that to kind of give people a sense of what Winneshiek County is, and just kind of bringing up special things that are in our county. Things like we have the most bridges of any county in Iowa. What does that really mean? So stuff like that to really promote Winneshiek County.
So you can access that to go to Winneshiek County's website, and then there's a link under the engineer's office to this information.
That's the idea, yes. I don't know, I know that's been worked on, it's an ongoing thing, so if you have if the public has anything they wanna, bring to our attention, it's welcome.
Mike, we're adding a layer in there on GIS for our own road signage and all of that.
It'll be road so right now there's rock. I haven't looked at the GIS, where Reggie's at, but where there's prairie grass, where there's signs, where there's endangered species, things like that. Or
When you say rock, they can see where the most recent rock applications are happening.
yeah, the design ones, the spot rock and things like that.
Right.
We're not mapping that out,
Right.
but the rock applications for every year we have a set of roads that we figure out. So that's what's going in that. Budgetary discussions with staff are ongoing for the April IDOT submission. Friday, I went out.
Just I'll comment on that quick. The law that changed the budget timeline for you as the board completely ignored the county engineer's budget timeline. So you'll have to certify the county engineer's budget with DOT and your 5-year plan a couple weeks before you actually hold your budget hearing and certify the county's budget. So,
Interesting.
yeah, used to be, that was 2 weeks after the county budget so that you could get yours done and then they could finalize theirs. Now, because they pushed yours back a month to accommodate these extra mailing and such, that they didn't change the DOT one. I wouldn't be surprised if they ask at the state to switch that eventually, but for now, that's what we have to deal with. So you'll have to certify Michael's budget before you even done.
It's approved.
Yes.
No, we won't change it on that.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, just did some field work with staff on inspecting the 3 bridges. 3 bridges were notable only because in February I met with Chuck Britson and it highlighted that they had a lot of change on these bridges. So we went and looked at them. We have a job opening for the bridge crew. We submitted final plans for W14 Spillville to Ridgeway. Should have W14 on there. Fiber optic lines for the county are being installed all over the county, so there's a lot of permitting work going on. So that's ongoing.
We go back to W14. When can the folks in that area expect the actual project to start?
Oh, it's good.
It would be,
What's in your schedule?
I'm trying to remember, honestly,
Thinking.
it'd be end of the year, so it'd be,
In the fall?
yeah, August, September is when it would start, but I don't have those dates memorized, sorry.
No, but we're looking at fall.
Yes, definitely fall, it's supposed to be let,
Repeat it.
yep, it's let in June, so that'll give, depending on what the contractor wants to do, but yes, August to September is what I would expect. Talked to Origin again. They have their own shop design. They did the one in Fayette County, so might go review, do some more field work on that. And this is all in regards to proposed locust shop fiscal year 25.
With that locust shop, will they tear down the old shop or will part of that remain in place?
That's a big enough site that we will want to keep that building for cold storage.
I was gonna say, the part of it's fairly
Yeah,
relatively.
yeah, no, it's still useful. It just, it's not very energy efficient and they can barely fit their equipment in there. So the equipment's gotten bigger. and
Yeah,
everything.
so like a couple of days ago, I played about half of that building.
Yeah, no, it's in a lot of ways it's serviceable, but it's just,
It's not user friendly.
it's not user friendly and its utilities are high on it, so.
It's fun.
Mike, are you considering a similar approach on that shop as what Nick was doing on the Schley?
That's my base case, but I wanted to get another example and Origin said, oh, we did this and.
So Origin did do, in fact, I'll see him tomorrow. I'll ask him about that.
Yeah, I heard the person that I was working with Origin was, her name was Lauren Ray, I believe. And she's the one that is the structural designer for it. So I got the plans in the office if you'd like to come by and look at those.
We have a bid letting tomorrow in Spillville for the water system at Origin as the design engineers of record. And so he'll be there. And I have to do what Ben does because nobody is able to be there to receive the bids and open them. So,
Okay,
he and I will be there tomorrow doing bids. So I'll ask you.
doing bid tabs, so. We've received applications for open positions. We're still looking for more applications for the roadside technician and for the engineering tech application for the summer.
You said you had an opening in the bridge crew. Is that one is it in the Is it within the union transfer part now, or have you gotten past that and now you're into the public application?
Someone just left, didn't they?
They've put their 2 weeks in, yes. So,
So the first thing is to offer it within the department.
and that's been, I know
That's,
that-
that's done, or that's in
I didn't
process?
do that, but I believe that was done by one of my staff members.
Okay.
So that was, I didn't know that was, I do know that was discussed. I didn't know the,
Yeah, so usually it's open for like a week to see if someone within the department wants to move before you put it out to the public.
okay.
Which if someone moves, then you have a different opening within the department, so then you have to do that one for another week, yeah. But yeah, eventually you'll have an opening to the public.
Yes, and it's been about a week,
Okay,
so.
that might be.
So I might actually be correct on this.
Yeah.
But yes, I knew that was considered. I wasn't.
And a lot of
sure
times the bridge crew is the bottom of
Starting
the
spot.
starting spot because they have to go to so many different areas that people like to have so a lot of times it's from the bridge crew to one of the permanent crews that they move, not the other way around.
Yeah, it's usually more manually intensive.
Yeah.
Manual labor intensive. 28 fee agreements have been drafted for Spillville and Port Atkinson. Mr. Kelsey's coordinating the communication between the cities and the county. Got the same inquiry about large invoices is still ongoing. And Bridge 280, things are moving on that. So the Army Corps of Engineers is contacting Native tribes representatives, and we have plans that say are pretty close to final, but we want DOT to check them because design change is keeping everything inside of the right of way to minimize soil disturbance.
Where's Bridge 208 be?
It's over by Jackson Junction.
Down by the border?
Yes, it's real close to the border. And then, yes, that's what happened this past week.
What was refresh my memory on the large invoice?
So for the Bluffton, the Bluffton Bridge before my time,
Hutchinson, it's by Hutchinson Campground.
yep. And so some power lines were removed and the project was done as far as the county knew, in December of 2022. And we were invoiced in February. And got ongoing questions on that. And so there was an agreement made that the county would pay half for the utility pole installation, and I'm just not sure that we weren't informed of everything at all steps of the process for sure. And so I'm inquiring along those lines, and we'll probably be having that phone call this week.
And you're working for Andy too?
Yes, everything I send out before I send it out is going through Andy.
Good luck with it.
So
Have we come up with any on like permitting for fiber lines? Have we come up on I know there was talk about raising that $1 amount for a bigger company versus
I
have they
haven't,
come up with? The state was maybe a bunch of other counties are gonna,
that's a new concept to me.
yeah.
So-
But there was some talk about raising them because there's only like, didn't matter if you were a small entity or large, you could do X many of them for the same amount versus, you know.
So we had a little discussion at the
Yeah.
last 6 county
county
meeting on that.
that.
It's something you could have discussions with the
Yeah.
engineers on
Yeah.
technically.
I think there was a little bit of talk of it a while ago, but I thought there was
Never.
this was,
Yeah,
I think this was when I first got in,
yeah.
talking about if we wanted to charge a fee for that. if I remember right, so please don't hold me to this, if I remember right, it was something along the lines that we can't because of some policy.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have to look into that further, and I'm happy to do that. So that was a county policy, not a state or,
Oh, okay.
so it's a specific county policy as to what is allowed to be charged.
Did you guys find anything interesting on those 3 bridge inspections?
Honestly, those, and it was good to go out, because this is my first kind of real hands-on bridge work, since college. You know, but none of the bridges that were discussed, 92, 194, and 416, none of them changed ratings for the bridge inspector. They just, so anything interesting, they were the one.
Hold.
No change is good change.
Well,
When Chuck Ritson comes, sometimes it's bridges that have to be closed, so you know, it's,
Right.
when we don't have that, that's good.
in this case, there was the one that was, up in the northwest, I forget which number that one was, I think it's 416. Up by Kindleville, and it's the bridge comes around a bend and it's a 6-ton bridge. And evidently there's a lot of history with that bridge where farmer clipped it, knocked it down, and I think Brennan's came back and just put something in real fast, and you get on the pier, and then all the concrete workers sign their names in it, things like that. So it was you know, it was I'll call it a very interesting time and very enjoyable. So yeah.
When a farmer clips a bridge like that, who pays for
Insurance, hopefully.
heirs?
Yeah.
Depends on what the bridge is worth too, it's how much.
Where's that one, and when the truck,
Feed truck hit that.
the truck dropped that bridge, their insurance paid for it, but with the current value of the bridge, which was, they put it like 100,000, and it cost us over $1 million to put a new bridge in, so.
It was that old, it was an old bridge.
That was not,
Within the time,
that was
yeah.
not good.
They don't cover replacement costs.
Cost, no.
No.
Okay, somebody-
All right, that's the end of my doings for the week. So any other questions?
I think you'll enjoy the ISAC meetings.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I forget what was on the agenda, but I remember there was 2 things on the agenda that were very pertinent to what I was doing right now.
This, Fayette County shop, that was the last new one they just put up.
That was the one that was, yeah, the most recent one that Fayette County had done. This,
Main shop.
yep,
What the price tag was on that one?
it's quite a bit higher, but I figured I could at least look at their plans and
'Cause I
get
think,
some
I
ideas.
think it was around 5 million.
Nick,
Yeah, and the price per square foot was significantly higher.
And it's a lot bigger than you need for a small.
Correct.
It could be
The price-
scaled down.
The price per square foot's more than double of what Howard is paying. So again, it's ideas rather than wish list.
yeah, Nick is working on redesigning his whole main shop up there and replacing the 1880s building. So he's got I don't think he'll be designing it the same way as Origin would.
Yeah, I mean, I hear nothing but good things from there about the Fayette County shop, but yes, I think that my impression from this play shop was very, very good, from crew, from expert over across the table there, and other engineers. So
Yeah, $5 million would better be.
Yeah, well, it.
$5 million that's not getting
Better
done.
not be no insurance.
It's not in the budget unless you guys can do something.
It's not in the budget.
I wouldn't even say it for me. If you want to do something for the crew for $5 million, that's on you guys.
Fluff.
Don't quote me on it, but that's the number that I seem to remember.
What was,
for some reason.
what was the cost on the building that,
The number I remember was 85, square foot.
85 foot is what I heard Nick say also.
Yep. So that's really good.
It is. Does anyone have anything else for Mike?
all right,
There's one quick question. Kevin Lee online was asking back to the trustees, if the trustees wanted to decline their pay, they can. Yes. It's up to each trustee if they take it or not. Thanks,
And-
Kevin.
And this $50, are you talking, that's the July 1st implementation?
Yeah.
right?
All right, do we have any committee reports?
We had historic on Saturday. They're working on Historic Preservation Month comes up in May, and so they won't be able to do it this year, but they're going to looking for some particular project or something that's been done within the county to give extra recognition for their participation and so forth. They're working towards their next project, which is the barn survey. They're going around and there's a lot of old antique barns and some are in very good shape. And all of that is proceeding. So it's an ongoing thing. It's really, again, here we have a large committee of all volunteers and they have very strong participation and
They do a great job.
do a lot of good work. And especially for the amount of, their ask to us is only $2,000 a year. And they really make it go a long ways. It's amazing. They will have an article that's appearing in a national magazine coming up about the mill survey they did and actually they're going to use one of the mill photos in the center of it. So they're really being very proactive.
You guys want to go outside?
I have and just a suggestion. I'm a little bit concerned because remember we're asking our public health department to investigate and the public health board, for a potential partnership with perhaps the hospital, if that may work out and so forth. And we've got a couple of open positions. And should something happen in the future, I feel a little bit uneasy about offering positions and hiring within, and then if something else develops with the hospital or something like that, that we're pulling the rug out of from underneath a new employee. So I would like to see us try to consider putting that on hold for now while we're trying to go through this investigative process to see if we can better understand where we have such a discrepancy. And I think it's really in the best interest, but I really would feel disingenuous if we continue to do the recruiting effort. But I don't think that paints a very good picture for us.
I think probably all we could do, if we agree on that, is to recommend it to the Board of Health. Because they ultimately.
They would make the decision.
Yeah, they would, but
I agree
But
with you.
I think it would put us in a bad light if something were to develop, and knowing that pursuing some other things to see if it may materialize, I think that's a little disingenuous.
Because if someone's gonna make a career choice and they have to pick between public health or go somewhere else, then they choose public health, and then all of a sudden, like Steve said, you're pulling the rug out, and that's not gonna happen anymore. They might have missed out on a position where they could have been at. It's my take, but
I think it's a discussion for the Board of Health.
Yeah, it's got to be the board. And don't they have a meeting? They have a meeting this week. Can you relay that to them, Mark?
we'll see what kind of feedback you can get. off that,
Yeah.
and see what they think, but
Well, Mark and I have a meeting with the
Mike.
aging
Yeah, you
Mike,
can make
yeah.
down you
over at
Have
the
one.
building.
we have,
landfill at 5 and
Okay.
you got Farm Bureau at 6 tonight too.
Where, is that at the Farm Bureau office, Mark?
Yeah,
I've got it on my calendar
And
too.
there's also meeting across the
Food-
street.
food pantry at
and
5
meeting.
too.
And if
Yeah.
we're done tonight, I'll do, I'm planning to drop by over there after it's a, it wasn't been too long. Just to.
Yeah, they invited us to it now since we're providing them space, so.
So I'm planning on attending that one. I don't know if anyone else is.
Probably yours at 6, correct?
Yep.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor, say aye. Oh,
I'll be on, next week, I'll be on Zoom. I'll be out of town.
Okay.
You three get to hold down the fort.
Oh, you're both gonna be on Zoom?
Both should be on Zoom next week. Should be.
Thanks for talking, everybody.
If anyone, there's a couple of copies of this evacuation map, if anything would like. Steve has. Here's that.
I'll take one. That's the spectrum layout.
Yes, especially where rough layout, it doesn't.
They want
The
to give them
basic
a
stuff.
chance to accept it and.
You know, if you look at, looking at this, of course, Washington Street is on the outside.
I got that, we're back done.
right here.
Finance.
Washington Street is this side.
Up towards this evacuation of Washington. Washington Street's on that side, yeah.
Right here, the main entrance.
Right, it's Washington's there, and then was the railroad.
Left side.
This is Washington
That
Street.
railroad, Washington is over on the.
This one?
That's Washington.
Oh, okay.
Hey, too. Bottom side of the page. That's food pantry.
Yeah, no, that's nice. And everyone knows we have the best candy in the courthouse. We're always the stop.
Oh, there is.
And even that, I try to be careful, like our current candy, the peanut butter cups are football shaped, because we got the leftover,
Oh, the heat, or the.
from the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Oh, my.
I bet. Or in January, we had the Christmas tree ones. By the old.
May you'll have the Easter.
Yeah, exactly.
April, yeah.
Always
Easter
go around.
bunny.
Yeah.
Should have heart ones now, though.
Just ordered the Super Bowl ones, so
Choice go
Yeah.
around.
Yep.
Let's see.
they taste just as good no matter what shape they are, so you know, people don't complain about
Yeah.
taste.
And all of this.
Yep, I'll take those up, I'm sure, but.
Some, there'll be some changes, I'm sure, I'm gonna take this out.
Okay.
It's food pantry.
There's no way that I'm gonna even. Why can't I see another design that-
Where are you going?
Florida.
Hey.
Yes.
Got a room, three of us to.
There's a few more.
I'm going to Virginia, but I'm going pretty 40 miles from the swamp.
I'll figure it out, maybe,
Three of you go, maybe we should, the rest of us should get tickets at the county's expense and have our meeting there.
There we go.
I didn't know that.
Beautiful weather here.
I didn't know we could charge mileage.
only about 30 minutes from the airport.
What part of Florida?
It's north of Tampa Bay, or whatever it is, I don't know.
Where is it? What's the name of the town?
Or something. Or no. Bill's niece, they have. B and B. Or right on water,
On the golf.
Gulf there. I have no idea. Yeah.
That should be the best view.
Yeah.
No. You're not in the tourist. part.
Yeah, I don't think.
You're gonna stay here for a bit, should I leave it on lock?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get it up.
Everybody can try their fish.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it's like it's a little crazy.
That was one of our shorter meetings.
There was.
Yeah.
That's complaining, especially gonna be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So what? 3.
The general supplemental,
340.
Yeah, I think that was more.
Yeah,
can't remember off the top of my head, but
especially with.
we did raise it
the firm that we hired.
80 cents
Right,
or something.
more questions and ideas from that.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't a dollar, it wasn't a whole dollar, but it was, yeah, I don't remember exactly, I'd have to get my paperwork, but it's, yeah.
Hey, Vince, you want to put the HR hire firm on the agenda soon to talk about when
When do they start?
So Andy will coordinate with them, their contract and stuff, and he's still out of the country, so I think we need to wait. for
Wait
him.
till he's back.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think he's been working with their agreement and that kind of thing.
Something like that, because like I said, and I know you said something about trying to keep it under three to make it less. And then we did,
Yeah, we ended up over 320 or something like that. Does that sound right? I'd have to look it up, but it's on I posted it on the website, so I could look at it.
I just wanna write them on. Ready, fill it in.
because we actually got that one other sheet with them, right, we got it here.
So this will be solid waste, this next meeting tonight?
What is it now? Oh, it's 10:30 now. So Mark, you're working on, talking with the engineer office over there, they're gonna, look at floor plan premises, so we're just trying to work to make sure we get some decent dimensions.
Yeah.
Give us that'll give us something to be able to talk more intelligently.
The total between general and supplemental is 772. So I can't remember how that breaks down. So it was 679, so we didn't change the other one, so 772 minus 679 is how much we paid. That's 72, 82, 92, 93 cents
On the gentleman's supplemental.
on the supplemental, yeah. It all had to be on the supplemental, we couldn't raise
Yeah, raised it to 3.44.
93 cents, yeah.
Yep. 3.44.
And this is on our,
Yeah, I
It is.
printed it out and it showed the tax combined, so it can be confusing sometimes to the public.
it can be, but that form is provided
Mhm.
by the Department of Management. So it is on our website. I
Yep.
put it right here too, so people can find it and know when the hearing is and so on, so.
Figure that shit out.
Big circles, little circles.
Yep.
Makes sense.